Welcome to the Roar of Judah. Our mission is to hear God's voice above the noise of this world. And now, here's your host, Dr. Mike.
And as a licensed counselor, I'm thrilled to have my guest today to talk a little bit about her own journey with mental health. I know when I went through my own struggles, and with a lot of clients I work with, one of the big issues is, people feel all alone as they're dealing with it. And I like the verse in Isaiah 41:10 that says, "Do not fear, for I am with you. Do not be dismayed, for I am your God." And just gives a lot of hope for those of you who may be struggling yourself. And hopefully you'll find some comfort and hope in the story from our guest today. So please welcome with me, Vicky Stehr. How you doing, Vicky?
I am wonderful. Thank you for asking, Dr. Mike.
And we were talking right before, and it was supposed to be Vicky Stehr, and I said Vicky Stehr anyway. But I did my best.
Sorry.
I had one job, and I blew it.
No, it's wonderful. It's all great. All good.
So just like all guests. Oh, go ahead.
Yeah, just the spelling of the name, it's German, so it's all good.
Sounds good. And just like all guests, just to lead off, like anything you want to share about where you're living, anything about your family.
Sure. Well, my name is Vicky, although I did legally change it to Victoria, but most people call me Vicky. I have a wonderful family. I have 4 siblings that I love dearly, and all their children and their spouses. I have a husband and stepchildren that are all adults. I'm more than blessed by the family I have because they all care so much and always have. And I'm from Minnesota, originally from northern Minnesota, closer to Canada, but now I live in southern Minnesota.
So I do have just a question, a curiosity for you.
Yeah.
So I'm on the East Coast.
Yeah.
So when we want to go to Canada, it's all like Lake Erie, and there's all these lakes. So there's one bridge called the Rainbow Bridge, and then there's another one like in Detroit. But that's like the only way you can really go into Canada is to cross one of those bridges, unless you want to go for a long swim. But then I always wondered, west of Detroit, since you live close to the border, couldn't you just walk into Canada anytime you wanted to?
Yes, for sure. Actually, I used to camp on the border all the time. I just did this last year. You could take your boat and go across the lake and you're in Canada, or through the woods and there you are. And you're in another country.
Yeah, see, on the East Coast, that's foreign to us because there's there's only a couple bridges that will get you there. And, we don't, but then you look at a map of the United States and it's what do all those people that it looks like you could just walk in so there's no fence or anything there. It's just.
No, just a lot of pine trees, beautiful pine trees, lakes. Actually, there's quite a few lakes on the border. Mm-hmm. Many people may have heard of the Boundary Waters, for instance, which literally goes right up into parts of Canada. It's just a beautiful area. I love it. I don't live there anymore, but I definitely visit frequently.
Okay. So what would happen? Do they care? If, say, the Canadian police would see you walking across the border, would they even care?
I have no idea. I mean, to me, if I was going to go into Canada from Minnesota, I'd probably just take a boat because it's just, woods upon woods, and there's International Falls. That's one of the main point of entries into Canada. And there's another one closer to North Dakota, but I have no idea. I mean, like I said, I've camped on the border. I've even fished in Canada. Man, we'd have to use dead minnows because in Canada, that's the legal thing. Even though, I don't know how they would know the difference because are you in Minnesota or Canada? I don't know.
Yeah. I appreciate you answering that. That's always been curiosity to me being on the East Coast because we don't have the ability to just walk into the woods and end up in Canada.
That's very interesting. I didn't know that either.
So anyways, to get us back on track, I know you've dealt with some mental health struggles yourself, and I am very inspired and encouraged by your bravery and courage to come on and, share some of the things that you've dealt with, some of the things you've gone through, and hopefully provide some hope to others. So I'm just going to turn it over to you and let you run with your story.
Oh, wow. Well, for starters, I will just say 2015 was definitely a turning or a breaking point for me mentally. But my journey started as a child, experiencing some trauma emotionally, maybe physically, even sexually. And you're not really aware of what's going on until you become like a teenager. So when I was in 10th grade, I was 15, apparently I was acting very strange, and my parents were concerned. Went to my sister's quite a bit older than me, and she called the police. I didn't know it at the time. And I grew up in a very small town, so we knew a lot of people. Chief of police showed up at my sister's, and it was my brother-in-law and the police officer. And my brother-in-law is an avid wrestler at the time, or was, wrestled me down. I was freaking out, so scared. I was such an innocent teenager and kid. I was just had imagination. I loved being outdoors and playing, and I matured later on. But anyway, I ended up handcuffed. I was bawling my eyes out. I ended up what was called the 5th floor in Hibbing, Minnesota. It's still there. And I was medicated like crazy. I mean, I was basically what do you call it? When they just pump you full of meds, they're just trying to figure out what's going on. But I have some, I wrote it in my book, but I recall my little brother, he's 7 years younger than me. He would watch me on the couch when I finally got home when I was released from the hospital, and I had lockjaw. I would stare, I would drool because of all the medication and how it was affecting me. My legs would tremor, and I'd go, come sit on my legs, Dave, because it would shake so bad. I missed a lot of school. And then I even got chicken pox for the first time just months later. So that was kind of the start of a very interesting, horrendous journey with mental health. But one thing is I always had Jesus. He was always there. I knew he was ever present. I said, no matter the situations I went through, I knew he was with me. Plus, I did have my family. They loved me, but they didn't know how to handle me because I was just acting so strange. It wasn't until I was 19, I was hospitalized again. I was even before that, but when I was 19, this doctor, I'll never forget, he has now passed away, but he shuffled into the room and he's like, I have bipolar. You have it too. And at the time, I didn't know what that was. They called it manic depression back then. So he prescribed lithium and Depakote for me. And it seemed to work for a time. But I would run into a wall, or not a wall, but I'd have a mental health breakdown. The things I did, I took my 1992 Mercury Cougar, my first car, my first year of college, and I drove like a crazy maniac. In Hibbing, Minnesota, there's mining pits there, and there's dumps. And I took that car, that's an old car, and I drove it up that hill with a girl I met from college, scared the crap out of her, and she just wanted to get out, and I drove really fast back down, and I let her out. But I wasn't always aware when I would become manic. I have so many unbelievable, crazy stories that I did. I'm sure many people who've been diagnosed or struggled with bipolar have had similar situations. I was diagnosed bipolar type 1, which you can have this extreme manic episode and then you crash. And anyway, I met someone when I was 17. And he was a wonderful young man, and we had dated off and on, and we got married 8 years later, even though I broke it off 3 times. And he's a good man, very good. he just couldn't handle bipolar. And I had so many struggles of my own. When my mom died suddenly in 2010, I was in a manic state. I didn't know it, and I said I wanted a divorce, and we divorced. So I'm going to backtrack a little bit. My dad was an avid woodsman. Miss him dearly. He also passed away in 2012. He met a man from Virginia, the state of Virginia, and he was fishing. And my dad showed him northern Minnesota, and he started to, I love that accent, by the way. Anyway, my dad was kind of his guide, and I started to, we got into bird hunting. More of these gentlemen from Tennessee and Virginia came up to northern Minnesota, and we would guide. Well, I had called my dad's friend when my mom died. I got a divorce. I just needed to get away. He said, come visit. So I flew down, and I stayed with him and his wife, and I got to meet his sister-in-law, and his sister-in-law lives nearby. So where this was, if you know where Cumberland Gap, Tennessee is, you have the tri-state, you have Kentucky, Tennessee, Virginia. His sister-in-law had horses, and we hit it off right away. I am an avid horse lover. Horses have been healing for me since I can remember. My aunts had horses, and I have horses now, and they are just a creature that I can't even explain. They're just magnificent and just brilliant animals. But anyway, I went there and visited, and since I was in a manic episode, had no idea I was. With a divorce, I just basically let everything go, and I hauled my horse in my truck, and I drove down and lived with his sister-in-law because she offered it. And so I stayed with her until I got an apartment in Cumberland Gap. I worked in a nursing home in Kentucky, and so I have this joke that I resided in Tennessee, my horse was in Virginia, and my job was in Kentucky. But anyway, reality struck that Christmas, and I called my dad. I said, I just want to go home. I was in shock from my mom's death. And I flew him down, and he got to see his good buddy. He got to see where he lived. So that was a real blessing for him. And then he and I drove back to Minnesota. Then I lived with him, and he and I were just broken together because he lost my mom. And, well, I did too, but I also, divorced while I was manic. Anyway, there's so many crazy adventures that I can't even begin to share. I have been arrested so many times. I have driven recklessly. I have, actually in 2011, that would have been after I came back to Minnesota. Not that I've ever been suicidal, but I just wanted to be free because I was so broken. I was so hurt that I took all my medication that I had. And miraculously, I drove to Duluth, which is 90 miles from where I was living in Chisholm, to my sister Jennifer's. And I can remember taillights calling Pastor Terry, and he prayed for me, and I remember taillights, and next thing you know, I'm throwing up, and I wake up in a hospital. My brother-in-law, sister brought me to the hospital. So I've experienced miracles like that. When I was 19 and I hit that really bad depression when my parents couldn't handle me, they wouldn't let me live there anymore. They made me go live in a assisted living kind of for people with disabilities or mental health issues. And I couldn't function. But I went to a worship festival with my sisters, not festivals at a church, and God freed me of depression on the spot because I prayed and I prayed and I yearned, just kept asking to be free. It's all I ever wanted was to be free. The mental illness and the torment. I was bullied in school. I was called psycho. It was chanted in the hallways. But I never lost sight of Jesus. I never lost sight of who he is, but how I just wanted to be friends and have friends. But I was always picked on in some sort of way. Or I'm a very funny, silly person, and I don't know if it annoys people sometimes too, but that's okay. Anyway, 2015, the craziest moments of my life that I can't, if I go on, I don't know if I'll share, it'll take too long. It's basically, we pray, we seek the Lord. I think it's in Colossians, you are holy, or you are, oh shoot, no, I'm not gonna remember. I wrote about it in my book, and I thought I was healed. Went off of medications, I was fine. Met a person from Hibbing, and I just up and sold my house at the time, and I said, want to go on a vacation, and went down to Kentucky, Cumberland Gap. I was drawn to that area. Well, lo and behold, that person apparently wasn't supposed to leave Minnesota. They were on parole. Well, I didn't know better. And that started a time I was stuck in Kentucky. I was arrested multiple times. I was homeless. I was robbed. My knee was so injured I couldn't walk. I had to drag myself. It was a nightmare. It was not that Kentucky's a nightmare. It's just the state I was in. I was so psychotic. I had no sleep, and plus I don't know if they didn't know what to do with me. The sheriffs from Middlesboro, Kentucky would just drop me off in Tennessee, in Harrogate or Cumberland Gap. They just kept dropping me off. They'd arrest me and drop me off, or arrest me and I'd be in jail. And the third time I couldn't get out. But why? Because I was just this homeless, mentally ill person. That makes me think of how many people today we see that are homeless, and people I've watched people, or they're disgusted by them, but they don't even know their story. They don't know what they've gone through. Well, thank God Almighty. Through my family kind of helping, and a lady that said something about in jail, if you just call a certain number, you get a lawyer. Oh, I didn't know that. And I got out, but the judge said, never come back to this county again. And I didn't have anything. My car at the time was impounded. Thank God my brother, and even somebody from down in Virginia, one of the hunters that my dad and I guided, helped pay for it to get out of the pound. And then the lawyer offered me to go get it. But these people in that area hated me at the time. But my brother had wired me money, but I was so nervous that it wasn't going to show up. Well, my car, it was an Equinox. And there was one story I can share right now. It's just kind of funny. The man I was with, we were in Cumberland Gap. Kind of looked like a hillbilly. He was skinny. He, at the time, only had his overall short pants on and messy hair. And there's a creek that rolls through there. And he goes in the water. And he all of a sudden, he's going in the water, up and down, up and down. He's like, watch this. And he pulls up a trout. And then the people walking by go, don't you see the sign? No fishing. And we just kind of chuckle. We're probably both just really messed up in the head, right? And we take the fish, or he takes it and he stuffs it in a pair of pants and had put it on the back seat. Well, when we got arrested, that fish rotted on the back seat in my car. So thankfully the impound took the fish out, but my car was so stinky. But I didn't care. I was heading home. I on my way I stopped near Chicago. It's where my older brother lives, and spent a couple days there. And I didn't have anywhere to go. Thankfully my oldest sister let me live with her in the Minneapolis area. man, depression hit hard, but not hard enough to the point I couldn't work. I got a job. I've been in social services since I was 18. I love taking care of people with disabilities, and one thing after another. Got this job. I was a director. Really good company to work for. I found a good church right near where I was living. There was a mission trip to Kenya. I went on the mission trip. I'm a young man who is the adopted son of the pastors and stuff. He dreamed about coming to the USA and saw the river. Anyway, he now lives in the USA. I helped him come here, and he has his doctorate in business. So there's just things continue to happen. Oh, I have to say, 2016, my birthday in April, I was still very depressed, and I just cried out to the Lord. I just wanted to be free. And I was dealing with severe anxiety, by the way, as well, Dr. Mike. Just combination of the depression and anxiety is horrible. They fight each other almost. But the next day I woke up and I was feeling okay. And then the next day, and then the next day. And now it's 2026. And there has not been any signs of mania or depression. Now, a doctor will just say it's in remission, but I believe God's completely delivered and healed me from all the traumas, the hurts, the situations. There's always hope. That's all I want people to know, that there's hope regardless of what you're going through. Just keep pressing in, and if you don't have Jesus in your life, he's the answer. He loves us so much, and he'll free us. It may not happen in the moment, but it happens little by little, kind of like an onion, peeling the onion, layers back. And I'm just beyond blessed. I had, because of maybe the sexual trauma I went through, I had issues with relationships, and I gave up in 2017. And a man had contacted me online, and he's a farmer. I didn't know what to think at the time, but he turned out to be one of the most amazing men I know. He's humble, he's kind, he's good, he's got a wonderful family, and I'm more than blessed to now live in southern Minnesota on a beef farm, have my horses there, a couple horses, and I'm just so grateful. And I just want people to know that don't give up. Seek help, reach out. Even if it doesn't have to be people you know or don't know. I see on social media, someone's like, does prayer really work for you? And this is on a mental health link. It's like, yes. Don't give up. God will deliver you. Just keep pressing on. So I don't know what else to say except that he loves us so much, and I am so grateful that regardless of any of the situations I have gone through or have done, he loves me, and I'm blessed. Plus, I had a good family regardless of their hang-ups, and I enjoy the outdoors with them, and hunting and fishing and berry picking, and now beef cattle and baby calves.
Yeah. Thank you so much for sharing all that. I know it's just a real broad overview, and there's a lot more details, and I'm sure there's hours that you could share of parts of your story. But one question I wanted to ask to follow up, near the beginning of your story, you were talking, I think it was an ex-husband, where you said that he just couldn't handle somebody that was going through what you were going through. So there's probably a lot of people listening right now that, maybe they're not dealing with it, but they have a loved one that, is going through bipolar, schizophrenia, or can't get out of bed with severe depression and those sort of issues. So, kind of when you made the statement, like he didn't know how to handle it, what do you think would have been something, like if he could handle it, Like what did you need in that moment from him?
In the moments, I know he tried. I know he tried to do the best he could. I think it's just a matter of acceptance, like not rejecting. When I looking back, I felt not I didn't really realize it at the time, but I felt rejection
Mhm.
because not only with my mental illness, but also just the common ground. So I yeah, I don't know what else could have been done differently. I can only imagine how difficult it was to deal with me in those moments when I was very manic. But I do know and have seen people, over the years of working with people with disabilities and family members and whatnot, that just they won't acknowledge or accept what that person's going through. They're faking it. They're drawing attention to themselves. They need to get over it. And it's like just love a person.
Mhm.
Just love them where they're at and just wait and be there. Don't tell them what to do. Say, what can we do to make this better for you? Because a lot of times it's what happened to me. I was always told, you need to do this, you need to do that. And when I'm in a manic state, I'm just going to go the opposite direction. I won't listen, and so that's pretty much, I think that's what would help.
Yeah. And it's so difficult because, as a licensed counselor, a lot of times like connecting with the family as well, who's dealing in their own way with, whatever it is that the client's dealing with. And I wish there was a magic textbook answer that, you need to give them some tough love. You need to give them unconditional love and embrace them. And, because everybody responds so differently. And,
Yes.
the good news I can give is there's 100 different things that you can try, and some are going to fail miserably and push
Yes.
that person further away and make them worse. But eventually, it's almost like trying to potty train a child. I mean,
Right.
there's no textbook. You follow step A, B, and C, they're going to become potty trained. Like
Yeah.
there's all these different techniques. You just got to find the one that fits that kid. But the one piece of advice I would give is there's an organization called NAMI. It's NAMI, and it's a nationwide organization that is there to support the families of loved ones who are dealing with mental health issues. And it's a good, because a lot of times you feel like you're all alone,
Yeah.
and like these will connect you. You'll have other families there that are dealing with a loved one with bipolar or depression, or whatever the issue is, and you can start to
Yeah.
strategize and see what has worked and come up with ideas, and just have that supportive environment as well. I saw you kind of lit up when I mentioned that. Do you have any affiliation with them? I mean,
Uh,
are
I
you
don't,
aware
but
of that?
well, actually, I'm a member, but I'm
Mhm.
not excessively involved. But it is a good organization, and
Yeah,
they do have a lot of information and ways to help people for sure. Yeah.
yeah, yeah. And just out of curiosity, like, is there anything you look back on it? I remember working with somebody one time that was in a manic episode, and they just got in their mind that for some reason China was going to stop manufacturing shoes. So she literally went to the shoe store and bought like 200 pairs of shoes. And for
I've
some
gone
reason,
crazy.
the shoe store would probably gladly let her buy 200 pairs of shoes. But, it's one of those things where she looks back on that and just
Yeah.
finds it hilarious now. Like, do you
Yeah.
look back at anything in your journey that you're just like, what all I can do at this point is laugh about that?
Yeah. I basically every situation I can either laugh about or I'm an open book. I'll tell everything and anything. Um, I'm trying to think of situations. I get even almost so into psychosis that I couldn't watch TV because I thought it was talking to me.
Mhm.
That was earlier on, but I'm thank God I wasn't a huge purchaser. I wouldn't like go excessively into spending. I'd give up and give away things too easily. Like I don't know if that's just because that's my heart, like how I'm wired. But trying to think of some of the craziest things. there's just too many of them. Like you mentioned with the driving, I was locked up many times, many times in hospitals. Um, I wish I wish my family was here because they could tell some stories too, or even some of my friends. Um, Most of it was like just I'd have the weirdest imaginations, or the driving recklessly. I There was another situation. This was with my first husband, or we weren't married yet. It was right after we had met, and it was on Halloween, and I wore a skunk costume. He was at the bowling alley. He worked at the bowling alley too. I showed up in my skunk costume. Well, then I left, and all I had on was that skunk costume. And then I remember driving and blacking out and going kind of in the ditch. And then I kind of like snapped to, and I was so embarrassed. And I got back on the road, and here's someone had called the cops. But I just kept going and going. And I ended up in Brainerd, Minnesota, and then ended up in the hospital over there.
Mhm.
You know, I would, in the middle of the night. Oh, here's one thing. My sister just reminded me of something I forgot I did. Apparently, I borrowed her Walkman back in the day. And she's like, "Do you remember what you did with it?" And I'm like, "Oh, wait, I don't know. You told me you threw it in the lake." Well, Chisholm has lakes, or a lake, excuse me. I would take random things and just throw it and get rid of it. And very symbolic, just overly spiritual. Just, yeah, there's so many crazy things. You don't even want to know.
Yeah. And I'm sure if people want to like dig a little deeper into some of those, you have a book you wrote on your experiences,
Yes, I
correct?
do. Yes.
And
I wrote.
yeah, if you could give an overview, and also like what your hope or your goal was when you wrote that what you would love to see, how you would like to see it impact people.
Sure, for sure. After 2015, the experiences in Kentucky, it's like, gotta write a book. Even someone told me I should write about my story. The whole purpose, or part of it begins with also a healing for me. That's what it helped when I was writing it, because it's my memoir. But it's all about what the hope. I have scripture after, like each chapter, and just a thought of the freedom that comes along through this journey of my life. The ups and downs, the roller coaster, the crazy. All I want is people to know the love of Jesus, and that they can make it.
Mhm.
It's gonna be okay. And if I, who's come near death more than once because of the bipolar, if I can make it, you can make it too. To just keep persevering, just keep trying. Don't wallow. Don't get into self-pity. Just keep going, and keep looking up.
Yeah. Thank you for those words of encouragement. And for sure, at the very top of the description, I'll put the name of your book. I'll probably put the Amazon link, but it's also on Barnes and Nobles and across all the bookstore platforms that they can find that. But one last question: if somebody just wanted to reach out to you directly, just for some encouragement, or maybe they have a question, is there a certain Facebook link or email that they would be able to
Yeah,
reach you?
I have a couple. Victoria Stehr on Facebook. It's actually was originally for the book. I have my personal Facebook, but I also have my Gmail, which people can contact me anytime. It's VC, as in Craig, my husband, Stehr, STEHR @gmail.com. I'm more than willing at any time to be there and help, or make somebody laugh.
Yep. And I really appreciate you coming on. I know it takes a lot of courage to share,
Yeah.
struggles you've been through. And, thankfully God is using you to be an inspiration and an encouragement to others. And I appreciate your heart and coming on here and all you had to share today. So thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Dr. Mike, for having me. I appreciate it so much.
Thanks so much for watching this episode of the Roar of Judah Show with Dr. Mike. I hope you were inspired and encouraged to grow in your own faith. Please follow us online. We're on YouTube, Facebook, TikTok, Instagram, your favorite podcast platform, all under Roar of Judah Show. Also, we love to hear from our viewers. Leave a comment. If you want to email us, we're roarofjudahshow@gmail.com. You can also visit us online. The website is www.roarofjudahshow.com. On there's a link to our online store. I'm a licensed professional counselor. I specialize in anxiety treatment. You can find my Freedom from Anxiety video program that's already helped thousands of people. Also, I have a 90-day Freedom from Anxiety devotional book. We also have all kinds of merchandise to help you share your faith, and I hope you'll check that out. We also believe that we all have a story that declares God's glory. If you'd like to be a guest on this show, we'd love to have you. On the website, towards the bottom, there's a little form that you can fill out, and we would love to hear your story. So may the Lord bless you. May the Lord keep you. May his face shine upon you as you let your light shine, so others would see your good deeds and worship your Father in heaven. This is Dr. Mike signing off. Until next time.